What's your worst Tinder date? OP starts by leaving their own story. I went on a date with an Israeli girl in Siem Reap. We arranged to meet at a bar. I say I'll be there from 9ish, she says she'll be there a bit later. This is a rooftop bar with a half pipe and other activities. I'm sat on the half pipe having a joint at about 11 PM and I see her come up the stairs. She clocks eyes with me and turns around and leaves. Fine, whatever, I think, and I go downstairs to play beer pong with a friend. After 5 minutes of beer pong, she's stood behind me texting someone. I ask if she wants to grab a drink, and she says, "Just continue your game and I'll see you in a bit." After I finish the game, I see her talking to someone, so when the conversation seems to have dropped for a second, I ask if she wants to get that drink now. She tells me, "I'll chat to you in a bit, I'm just talking with my friend." By 3 AM, I'm back on the half pipe and I see her alone on her phone. I go up and ask, "Hey, are you good?" She says, "Do not talk to me, you are so rude. First, you ignore me and play some stupid game, and then you interrupt me when I'm talking to my friend. And you are drunk. I do not even drink, you are so rude." I thanked her for presenting her plethora of red flags and left feeling rather confused. Nowhere on her profile did it say she didn't drink, and we'd arranged to meet for a drink in a bar, somewhat earlier than 3 AM. Oh well. I'm 40M and was dating a lot at this time, but this was by far the weirdest one. This happened back in spring 2022. The match started normal enough though. She was a bit young for me at 28. Her pictures were nice. She said she was still in school and working in investing and finance. She asked to get drinks after only a handful of messages, which I thought was odd, but why not? When I show up, I am immediately taken aback by what she's wearing. She is decked out in very fancy men's clothes, like something going to a cocktail party with old money British people. I later find out that the tie she's wearing costs a few hundred from a boutique London store. But this is New York City, and a lot of people are eccentric, and I think maybe this is just a look she's trying out. I could roll with the outfit, but when I heard her voice, I was floored. She started by saying, "Well, hello there," in kind of an old-timey accent. She spoke like she was SNL's Kate McKinnon doing an impression of someone. And now I'm thinking to myself, what the f*** is this? I'm polite, so I go along with it like this is normal. We started talking about work, and she starts telling me that she just got off work at her job at the running shoe store. I was confused because I thought she did finance, but she explains that she's trying to get a job doing that, and right now she is just working at the running store. She mentions how everyone there thinks she is a manager because of the way she dresses. In my head, I'm thinking, she wears the fancy clothes to a job at the running store. What the f***? I casually ask if she likes running, and she responds that she absolutely hates running. She also hates sneakers and they don't fit on her feet. She only wears a particular type of men's dress shoes. At this point, I think I'm being punked. I start looking around trying to find where the camera is. I can't believe that this could possibly be real. Then she mentions that I am a little young for her. I ask her what she means because I'm a lot older than her. She tells me that her last boyfriend was 78 and the one before that was 85. And she is looking for younger guys now because she wants to have a long-term relationship, and then in a Groucho Marx voice says, "If you know what I mean." I am now looking at other people at the bar trying to figure out if they're actors, but they all seem normal. It goes on for a bit longer with some other weirdness. At this point, it was just a car accident and I can't stop watching. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a YouTube channel out there with this. Well, now there is. Kind of. So, did you sleep with her? Lol, no. Worst and shortest date. We met up in a cafe. He was about 10 to 15 years older looking than his pictures. But I'd already ordered a coffee, which I really wanted, and tried to be polite. We talked for a bit, but he kept moving one hand onto his groin, like he had to adjust something. But he kept doing it. I just asked, "What's wrong? Are you itching?" "No," he says. "I haven't f***ed in a very long time, and you are making me so hard, it almost hurts." He gave me a wink like that was a compliment, but I stood up and left, without ever getting my coffee. He left? But he sounds so romantic. Something tells me he's going to be waiting a lot longer before he f***s again. I had just gotten out of a bad relationship. I was feeling spontaneous and perhaps a little reckless. So I decided to say yes when a guy invited me to come drink at his hotel room with him and his buddy. We'd only talked for about 20 minutes at this point, but he offered to pay for drinks, so I, a poor and sad student, stupidly agreed. I get there, and he gives off a strange vibe, but seems nice enough. We go up to the room, and there are 2 more people there than he'd told me. An older man and a woman in her 40s. She looked like an addict, so could have been younger, I don't know. He then opens the window and grabs a gym bag they'd hung outside, which contains a ton of bottles of champagne. I could just pick whatever bottle I wanted. After drinking and chatting for about an hour, my date moves the hotel bed and picks up a suitcase he had hidden, and opens it on the bed. He then proceeds to take out a gun and is talking to the old guy. Now I'm freaking out. I've never seen a gun before. His buddy doesn't say or do anything but look at me. So I just sit there and drink my champagne nervously, while my date sells this gun to the older guy. I was too scared to say anything or to just leave. The other couple leaves, and my date turns his attention to me again. He is nice, but after talking a little bit more, he reveals that he's been to jail for 2 years. He doesn't say why, and I don't ask. I thought asking might be rude. I'm a little drunk at this point and agree to go out to a bar. At the bar, I go to the toilet and ask 2 girls what I should do. My date sold a gun to what seems like a drug dealer. They tell me to leave, and I do. 2 days later, I found out from my roommate that he went to jail for rape. Bullet dodged. Men's bad dates, she ditched me for another guy. Women's bad dates, almost got raped. That is unfortunately too true. I had a girl who I'd matched with ask me to pick her up and we would go out. When I arrived, she came out with her son, her sister, and a bunch of her belongings. They had no place to go and were getting kicked out of their place. I agreed I would drop them off at a friend's, but not before they asked me to go to Applebee's. She mentioned they hadn't eaten, and I sat there as all 3 of them ate and the 2 sisters ordered drinks. The drinks weren't strong enough, so they ordered additional shots as well. My date's 2-year-old son wouldn't let me go and tried to have me pick him up the entire time. He simply didn't want to walk and focused on me the whole meal, which involved him lovingly throwing items and sitting on my lap. After I paid for the meal, they packed up numerous leftovers. As we get in my car, she suggests we could get 2 hotel rooms, one for us and one for her sister and son. I explained I didn't think that was a good idea. I dropped them off at the place they arranged to stay. I get a call after saying her friend isn't answering the door and they still need a place to stay. So that was the date. There never was a friend. We went on a date that started off with coffee and then we went to wander around the shops. We came across an ice rink and she just has to go on in. I figured it would be an interesting activity to do with a partner and maybe share some laughs at my bad form. I feel the need to mention that I'm a 6'4" beanpole and my stability is questionable at the best of times, so I barely lasted even 5 minutes before I slipped and sprained my wrist and ankle and needed to be carried out. Rather than keep me company as I sat on a bench with a bag of ice on my limbs, my date went back into the rink by herself and carried on skating as I watched. I saw her pairing up with another guy and then left me behind on the bench without even looking back. Never contacted her after that, and she never made any attempt to either. Honestly, sounds like you had a lucky escape. How long, I wonder, before she did the same thing to that guy? I talked to a guy for about a week, and everything was cool. We arranged to meet up at 7, so I chose a place that closed at 9. I texted him to let him know I was on my way, and he immediately called me. We hadn't talked on the phone yet. I answered, and he was using an obviously fake, high-pitched voice. He finally started cracking up and said he just wanted to see if I would cancel the date if he sounded like that. Okay, weird, but I'm already driving so might as well meet up. He then continues to talk about his day, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be there in like 5 minutes and I'd rather not talk on the phone and drive, so I'll see you soon. And I hung up. I got to the coffee shop and he immediately ran up and hugged me, no warning. Again, not a crime, but not my thing. As soon as we sat down, we started talking, just general conversation, when he interrupted me to tell me that he felt like I was really intense because I would look him in the eyes while he was talking instead of looking elsewhere. He then spent over an hour telling me about his first enema. Literally every detail, including the resulting shit afterwards. And the remaining time before the place closed, he spent talking about his ex. When the place closed and I tried to leave, he begged me to check out his shitbox car. And then when I said I was leaving, he begged me to come back to his place and kept going, "We don't even have to have sex." Wow, how generous. I think that's all fairly forgivable, as maybe a weird sense of humour, but there's no getting past the hour-long conversation about an enema, and obviously the end. Okay, final post for today. I met up with this girl for drinks. We spent about 40 minutes at a bar having a great conversation. She was really into me and I was into her. After about 40 minutes, she goes, "Okay, my friend is going to come because it's karaoke night, but you can come if you want." The friend, who is also a girl, shows up and she immediately changes. I'm trying to speak to the friend and her, get some sort of group dynamic going, but the friend wants nothing to do with me. But beyond just slight annoyance, which I thought was weird. I decided I should probably go home and let them have karaoke, but the girl I'm on a date with insists I come. We go to the next bar and the dynamic gets even weirder. The friend was just this brick wall. I'd ask a question about themselves and they would seriously just look at me with a dirty look. I was just trying to be friendly. So we are all just drinking a shit ton. When the friend was doing her karaoke song, I asked my date what her deal was. She goes, "Oh, well, she's gay and she told me yesterday she's in love with me." So, being a little drunk, I start asking why didn't she tell me? What an awkward situation we didn't have to be in. Anyways, the night went on and we were drunkenly bickering at the bar. We ended up going back to her place and having drunken sex. The friend left at some point. This girl got abnormally turned on to the point that the bed was literally soaked. And when we were having sex, I noticed she was on her period, which she denied at first until she couldn't. She wanted me to stay, but we started arguing after sex, so I just left. Unfortunately, my jeans were soaked in the front from dry humping, and it was winter, so by the time I got home, my pants were frosted over. Wow, that was just a terrible night from start to finish. Thank you very much for listening. If you've made it this far, then you've already helped me out massively and I bloody love you. Make sure to leave a comment if you've ever had a terrible Tinder date, and if you'd like to help me please the YouTube algorithm gods, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.